Well, as a way to get the final text, I think it's important to note that the main things that we have been focused on as House Republicans in this agreement is to ensure, number one, that the president has more tools than he has today to keep our border secure and to build more physical barrier, and especially to build it in the places where our experts say it's needed the most. If you talk to the people at Homeland Security, they know where we need to build more physical barrier, and in some cases, they're prevented by law from building in those areas, which is a ridiculous problem we've been focusing on solving. And I commend Kate Granger and our Republican leaders who have been making sure that we advance our position from where we are today. You also look at the detention beds. You know, when you talk to the Department of Homeland Security, they wanted to make sure that if we detain terrorists, if we detain felons, that we don't have to let them go because we run out of beds. We actually had to negotiate that. Think about it. Speaker Pelosi has moved so far to the left that we had to actually negotiate to make sure we could hold terrorists and felons and that they wouldn't be forced to be set free. Fortunately, we are hopefully going to be able to get the language that allows the Secretary of Homeland Security to detain terrorists and felons, and that they're not forced to be set free, and to have the ability, flexibility to move money around to make sure that we're able to detain those kind of people that are caught by our ICE agents and other Border Patrol agents who are keeping our country safe. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we can build more physical barriers to protect more areas of our border, and I'm hopeful that that language will come out shortly and give the president those extra tools. On another front, I know we have been speaking out against the growing anti-Semitism that we've been seeing from some of the Democrats in Congress. We've been disappointed that their leadership hasn't been strong enough in calling that language out. You know, you can see even with Congresswoman Omar in her recent statements, she had to apologize, but as she unequivocally apologized, she actually equivocated in that apology and went back after some of the same organizations that she had criticized before. And so it's not a true apology. And frankly, I don't think she should be sitting on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, getting those classified briefings about some of the very countries like Israel that she has been speaking out against. And I think that's a concern. I think Speaker Pelosi ought to remove her from that committee, and she hasn't done so yet. So we need to see more strong action taken by the Democrat leadership against the growing anti-Semitism that we're seeing from their party. We're going to continue to fight for these issues. We're continuing to fight to get the Born Alive bill brought to the House floor. We've been making motions of unanimous consent that the Democrats haven't been recognizing. But ultimately, we're going to move a discharge petition if they don't bring this bill to the floor. The fact that Democrats still allow some states to murder a baby after it's born, after a baby's born alive, outside of the womb, in some states they can still kill it. That's murder. It should be crystal clear all across the country that it's not allowed and that it would be murder if it's done. That's what our bill does, and Wagner's legislation that she's taken the leadership on. It ought to be brought to the House floor for a vote as quickly as possible, and we're going to continue pressing that issue.